Hey guys, Brian and Austin here from Nintendo Everything.
Hi.
Hello. This is actually the first time Austin and I are doing something like this, so
Yep.
it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. So yeah, Mario Kart 8 just came out a couple of days ago, and we thought we'd just share our thoughts and what we think about the game so far.
And I think you'll start just because you started the whole thing, so you might as well share your thoughts first.
Alright, well, I think it's one of the best entries so far based on what I've played. You know, it's just really fun to play, and I couldn't really say that about some of the more recent entries. Right now, it's probably my second favorite, right behind Mario Kart DS.
Why did you like DS?
Alright, well, first of all, it really nailed, like, the core mechanics, I felt like.
Okay.
And I also liked how it got the versus mode right.
That's true, yeah, they did do that.
I can't remember if Mario Kart 7 had one. I don't think it did, though.
No, it didn't. They didn't have any versus mode, and that upset a lot of people.
I don't understand why they didn't include one there.
It seems Nintendo does stuff like that a lot, where they'll just like take things out that people really liked, or they just forget to include things. And I don't know where that comes from, but I don't know. So do you like 8 more than 7? Then I'm assuming. How did you feel about 7?
7, it was alright. I kind of played through everything, and then after a while, I just put it down.
Yep.
You know, with Mario Kart,
I had the same experience.
like with Mario Kart DS, at least you had the versus mode in there. So after you're done with the Grand Prix, you don't really want to have to go through all the same stuff over again, and you want to have more choices available. And 7 didn't really have that.
What about the power sliding thing in DS though? Because that in Mario Kart 8, the power sliding works how it works in 7, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right, with getting the boosts. So.
Well, Mario Kart DS had snaking, which a lot of people didn't like. I didn't mind it. I have to admit, I actually did snake quite a bit.
Oh, so you were one of the people that caused everyone to hate that game.
Yeah, although I didn't really play it online, so.
Okay, then it's not too big of a deal. The online's really where it came in. So, all right, we might as well talk about Mario Kart 8 again. But yeah, so snaking's gone. Just in terms of the racing, do you like this one better than everything else except DS, or is there another game where the core racing is good for you?
No, I would say that they really nail like the fundamentals.
Yeah, I think that's true. I don't think I have any real complaints.
And they just kind of like ironed out a lot of things that were annoying in previous games, such as like now when you go out of bounds or you just like fall off somewhere, you'll get back up right away.
Yeah, and I don't know, the thing that I don't like about that necessarily is it's like doesn't punish you enough, I don't think, sometimes when you fall off. But then the flip side to that is if you're going through the air on like a glider, or you're going off of a jump or whatever, you can still get hit by shells right in the middle of the air. Like red shells will home in on you, and then that makes the falls a lot more dangerous. So it's a different dynamic. Yeah, it's much quicker and much more streamlined, I think, than previous Mario Karts have been. So I do like that. I think it feels really good. The actual driving's really nice. I like that the bikes aren't overpowered like they were in Mario Kart Wii.
Right, yeah, they definitely fixed that.
The bikes feel really good. So you play on a kart though, I think. When we played earlier today,
Yeah.
you're on a kart, right? Yeah.
I haven't done
what
too
kart
much.
do you use?
I just use a standard one. I haven't played around with the vehicles too much, but just before this, I did try one of the motorcycles, so it felt
How'd you
pretty
feel
good.
about it?
It felt pretty good.
Okay, all right. It's interesting how different the drifting is on all the vehicles. Like some of the motorcycles have, when you start drifting, you'll kind of go straight for a second and then do a really sharp drift to the left or right. And I kind of like that. I mean, I like that it's not so, like one of the problems, very small problems I had with Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart 7 is the drifting was just so like smooth and easy. Like it didn't feel like you were doing, like having to do too much work. Whereas if you think about something like Super Mario Kart, drifting, you're flying off the track all the time because it's like way too hard. Mario Kart 8, I think, has a good balance between the drifting being a little bit tricky to pull off. Like the first couple times you do it, you'll probably go off the track just because it's a little bit different and you have a little bit more weight. And I like that. It strikes a good balance between having a lot of weight and needing to do a little bit of work to drift properly, but also not being really frustrating like Super Circuit and Super Mario Kart are. So yeah, just the core mechanics of Mario Kart 8, I think, feel really, really good. What about like in terms of the items and how it all works together with, they added the new items and the blue shell is not as common and stuff like that.
Well, the Super Horn is really great, right?
Have you ever actually had a moment where you blocked a blue shell with a super horn?
I have. I honestly have.
I haven't seen that once.
Yeah,
It probably
I've done it a
feels
few
really
times.
good.
Yeah, it does. It's really nice.
Just because like it's the thing that we're so used to being completely unable to deal with, and you can finally deal with it. Yeah, I find the super horn tends to be a lot more. I use it a lot more offensively than defensively, actually. Running into people, and like if you can get into a group of like 3 other racers and use it, you can knock them all out at once. So it depends, though.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I've mainly been saving it for the end or when I need to get rid of the blue shell.
So if you get it at the very beginning of the race, do you just keep it the whole time?
Well, yeah. You know, I've been playing the single player mostly, and I've been only doing like 50cc and 100cc, and so I've mainly been first in those races.
You're just trying to like knock all that out and unlock all the stuff or whatever.
Yeah. I figured that was the best way to go about it.
I jumped right into 150. I cannot stand playing on 50cc because it's
kind
so
of a drag.
easy. It's a huge drag, and the nice thing about how you unlock stuff in 8, because it's done by coins, you can play any order you want and you'll still unlock everything.
Yep.
Which is nice, but it does feel good to have all this like the stuff completed in 50cc. So eventually I'll have to go back and do that.
And if you want to get 3 stars on every course, that's the only way to do it.
Ugh, I might just not. I seriously don't. I honestly, and this is, I think a lot of people agree, but some people don't. I think they need to just get rid of 50cc, make 100cc as hard as 50, and make 150, and then add like a new difficulty that's even harder. Because 150cc in this, it's tough, but it's not. You can get like 4th twice in a Grand Prix on 150cc and still manage to end up in 1st overall.
Yeah, that's true.
And you totally couldn't do that in like the older Mario Karts, so it's a little bit easier, I think.
The little touches are nice though, right?
In terms of just the visuals?
Well, the visuals, and I think we've kind of seen it in videos done by other sites. Like you'll see the Mario Kart TV guys like recording you.
Yeah, all that stuff's really, really cool. And what's interesting is people have pointed out you don't notice it when you're playing kind of consciously, but you totally feel it, like, as you're going through the courses. They all feel really cohesive. It's almost like this is the first Mario Kart where all the places kind of feel like they could maybe be real places, like as opposed to these strange abstract concepts.
Yeah.
And I really do like that. I think that's super cool. What's interesting is when you play these, all these locations are like way more diverse and interesting than most of what we see in like the mainline Mario games. I was thinking about this while I was playing. You know, if you think about even Mario Kart 7 and 8 in particular, there's like a giant techno Bowser city in Mario Kart 7 and like these crazy space stations, and there's multiple city areas in like that San Francisco level, Toad Harbor, and there's none of that really in too many mainline Mario games. So it's interesting that it feels like this almost has a more fleshed out universe in certain regards than recent entries in the mainline Mario series, which tend to be more like abstract. And I like that a lot. I think it feels really good to be racing through those types of places. So the only ones that do feel abstract, but not even as much as they used to, are like the Rainbow Roads.
Right.
And I think those are... People tend to like the N64 one better than the Wii U one, right?
I think I kind of agree with that, actually.
I don't really like either of them that much. I'm really bummed out that the N64 one's only 1 lap. How do you feel about that?
I was kind of surprised. Even though I've been covering the heck out of the game for the site, I haven't like watched too much footage just because I wanted to be surprised.
Yeah.
So I was pretty surprised when it was just 1 long course.
I wish it was 3 laps. That's all. Like, I would just like it more, I think, if it was. It feels too short. I'm fine. The visuals are obviously really impressive on that course. They're kind of... Have you taken any time in the courses to just not race and just look around?
I haven't, but I probably should do that.
If you look in the background of the N64 Rainbow Road, you know how there's like that city below it?
Yeah.
There's like little cars driving around down there and like little trains going. It's like a real little city. It's not just like a static thing,
which
I thought was a nice touch. It's at some point I want to turn on time trials and just look at everything and not have to worry about racing because there's so many details.
Speaking of time trials, though, I kind of was wondering, is there any way to like see the course times that you're getting in Grand Prix?
Yeah, that bummed me out a lot because it was really cool to see like how far ahead you were of everyone else. And I don't think you can. I don't think there's a way to see the time, and I don't know why they would remove that.
Yeah.
Especially online, like seeing the milliseconds ahead of someone that you finished a race. or seeing that you were 20 seconds ahead and feeling like, oh, I completely destroyed everyone. It's a bummer that that's gone. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird.
It's another one of those things like versus mode in Mario Kart 7 where they just took it out and I have no idea why. It's just something Nintendo does sometimes. So how about there was one more thing I wanted to bring. Oh, how about like the online in general?
I thought it's pretty good. I didn't really encounter any lag or anything.
Me neither. Do you remember Mario Kart Wii's online?
Kind of. We played a lot for game nights, but that was a while ago. I don't really remember it being like that great.
It was. I played it pretty recently because I got stupidly nostalgic when they were shutting it all down, and I was like, oh, I should play it. This is way better than that. It's so much quicker to get into a match. You can leave a match from the lobby. Normally in Mario Kart Wii, if you got into like the course selection lobby, you weren't allowed to quit. You had to quit at the end of a race. Just a lot of little things like that this one got really, really correct that I thought we didn't do so well. So I'm pretty happy with that. The only bummer is that like if me and you wanted to go play against random people, like you could do in like a Call of Duty game or whatever modern, online games, we can't just like party up and then take ourselves online. One of us would have to jump online, hope that we get into a race that isn't full, and then have the other person join in from there.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
It's just another one of those things that they overlooked. It's relatively minor, but it's still a bummer. It's too bad, but
at least on the whole, it's good though.
Yeah, the racing's all really excellent. I haven't had any dropped races, I don't think, and it feels really smooth. So.
And I feel like connecting online also is just like a lot quicker now.
Oh, it's so fast. It really, and I love the style that Nintendo does these kinds of things with, where you've got like the globe, and you can see all the Miis walk up to each other and kind of hang out. It's like this really nice thing compared to like lobbies in Call of Duty or whatever. I'm not trying to rag on any particular games, but it's way more interesting to me how Nintendo has done it. Save for the fact that the voice chat sounds kind of terrible.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. It's kind of nice that you can chat in lobbies, but it sounded muffled when we tried it out.
After 2 races, we just stopped because it just wasn't even worth doing. To me, anyway, there's just too much lag. If I was gonna, like yesterday or 2 days ago, I did play online with some friends, and we just used Skype.
That makes sense.
Because Skype was just better. So that's a bit of a bummer.
You kind of brought up the point of lag. Do you think that's why Nintendo didn't think about including voice chat during actual races?
I'm guessing, I listened to that Nintendo voice chat from IGN where they talked to the guy from GameSpy, and they asked him what his opinion on this was. Why might they not have done that? And he said, you'd be surprised at how tough it is to keep latency down and having voice chat in-game. And plus, there's 12 people playing. It's not like a 4-person online game or whatever. So his thoughts were that might be the reason. I heard someone else bring up that they might not want people like swearing at each other mid-race because you get really upset if someone does something like at the last second. I don't know if I buy that, but there's a reason for it, and who knows what it is. Probably technical, probably a latency thing, yeah. So who knows? It doesn't bother me too much not to have voice chat, honestly.
Yeah, same with me. Usually I'm just concentrating on doing the actual race, so.
Yep, and if I really want to trash talk, I can pick from one of those very politically correct phrases they have in their handbook there. I can tell you that I don't even know what you can. I don't think there's anything negative you can say. You can be like, I lost, and that's about the worst. It's about the worst thing you can pull out of that book. So, yeah, fair enough. So, anything else in particular we want to touch on as far as our thought? Oh, have you touched battle mode at all?
I was gonna bring that up. I played it a little bit. I don't like it.
I did the same thing. What's your biggest problem with it? Because I think there are like 2, but what's your biggest problem with it?
Well, for me, the biggest problem is that they're just reusing courses. I mean,
that's for you. It's just not having the arenas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot not to like about it, but that's probably the biggest point for me.
Yeah, I think, and I wouldn't mind if they reuse the courses like aesthetically.
Same.
But the design is just not for battle mode. Like the things, I think what they were going for is that, maybe, is that you'd have 2 people kind of racing around opposite directions, and you'd get sort of a jousting match going where you'd come up on each other every 20 seconds or whatever and have this really intense quick fight and see who could hit each other, and then loop all the way back around the track and do it again and again. But the courses are way too big to do that. Like,
Right,
they're
definitely.
huge. And
Yep.
and so the only other option you have is to like turn around, but that's so slow that by the time
Isn't
you
there
turn
like
around,
a way to turn around? But I don't know. I feel like I've seen other people somehow doing a technique where they turn around more easily.
maybe if you're going really fast and you drifted like quickly, but that's the only thing I could think of. Maybe they should put a quick turn button like Resident Evil 4 or something, just so you can spin around. Maybe there is something going on, but every time I played it, the courses were just way too big for me.
Yeah,
It
that's
did
pretty
not.
much my same thing.
And then the other thing that bothers me is that the ghost players afterwards.
Oh yeah, that's probably the second worst thing for me.
Oh, it's terrible because most of the time, I mean, think if you get down to just 2 people playing, right? You're going to have, if you're doing a 12-person battle, you're going to have 10 ghosts. So
Yep.
the chances that the ghosts end the game instead of the 2 players ending the game is like pretty high, right? And that doesn't feel good for the people who lasted that long and are trying to battle against each other if a ghost just like kills the last person. It's it sucks. It doesn't feel good. So I don't know, why this is how they did battle mode. Some people say, oh, it's because they ran out of time. But I don't know. I feel like this game has been done for like a month and a half.
Yeah, I mean the reviewers have had the game for a while now.
Yeah, and it seems, I don't know what it might be that caused them to make this decision. Is it the director or the producer that talked with Edge?
It was the director Yabuki.
Yeah, he said that it was like a creative choice, like, oh, we think this is the way we want to go, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels really slapped together.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's the only chance we have is DLC or a patch to take out the ghosts and make the courses like 10 times smaller. But I can't see them doing that really.
Some people were speculating that they might offer DLC, but who knows?
It would be interesting if they said, all right, here's a battle arena pack. I wonder if people would get angry at that because they'd feel like Nintendo deliberately took out the good part of battle mode in order to sell it later.
I have a feeling people would be pissed.
But would their desire to have a good battle mode sort of override their pissed offedness?
That's a good point.
I don't know. I don't think they would win any new fans doing something like that. But on the other hand, I think pretty much everyone is happy paying $60 for what they get with the game. So, as long as you have that base of like, all right, what I have is worth $60. All right, like, sure, maybe it's not as good as it could be, but at least I've gotten enough value out of it where, I don't feel too bad paying for more DLC, even if I think it should have been in the main game. So
Yeah, I probably wouldn't mind, to be honest.
I totally wouldn't, because again, what I'm getting out of this is $60. That's fine. I'm fine paying that for what this game is. So if it would be nice, it would be a very good showing of good faith to give us like some arenas for free. I think that'd be a really, really smart thing to do. And then it would also get people in the mode of like how to download DLC so that when they release it, because apparently they're doing it with the Mercedes-Benz car.
Yeah,
or
that was
whatever.
really strange.
I saw that at 4 a.m. and I was very confused. It looks just really weird.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? A lot of people are really mad.
I'm not really mad. I just think it's very strange. I wouldn't have expected that.
Me neither. I think the argument for why people are upset is that it feels like they're kind of selling out a little bit, like it doesn't fit with the aesthetic of Mario. I can see why, and it's kind of like people who initially got mad about Hyrule Warriors, like, oh, this isn't what Zelda is supposed to be, what's going on, and so there's a little bit of that kind of feeling. I don't mind it too much. I don't know if it'll come here, but I don't really mind it too much.
Yep, same with me.
I don't know if I'll get it, but it's...
Isn't it free?
Yeah, but I don't even really care that much. It's because it's just a less cool design than the courses or the cars that are in the game, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a funny gimmick, I suppose. So we'll see. I'm sure I would end up downloading it because it was free, but...
Although Nintendo may push it out to you no matter what.
If that happens, great. Then I don't even have to waste time downloading it.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be fun, Who knows? But the nice thing is that, hey, this game can get downloadable stuff. So I seriously have my fingers crossed for new courses. I would be so happy to get course packs for this game. I would pay $10 for 4 courses. What would be the price for 4 courses for you?
I could see myself paying something like $10.
I think 10, because these are well put together courses.
Yeah, they really are.
And well, if you think about it, you get what, 8 Grand Prix for $60. So you're paying a little bit. You're paying like $4 for. You're paying like $1 a course, which seems really cheap if you consider how well put together the courses are.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll do $5 for a pack of 4. I would definitely pay that if they're as good as the ones that are in the game. So. All right. Do you want to answer? Do you want to answer the other questions we have?
Yeah. So
right,
in case, for those who don't know, we put up a little form slash survey kind of thing on the site a couple of days ago, asking for your feedback about Mario Kart 8. So what we're going to do now is just going to go through the questions. Austin and I will answer them, and then we'll get to some of your comments and survey responses.
Yep. All right. So why don't we let's start with characters. So I think we both know the characters each other are playing as, right?
Yeah. Right now I've just been sticking with Mario, but I could see myself eventually going to someone like Yoshi or even my me.
Yeah, something. It's well, that's funny that you say those 3. You'll find out why later. Yeah, and I've just been drawn to Pink Gold Peach because I don't know. I just think she's kind of funny because she's such a weird, stupid character. Like, why is it a character? And it
feels really random.
It totally does, and it seems that the reason is that they wanted a female counterpart to Metal Mario. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of the same reason why you've got Toad and Toadette, you have Daisy and Peach, so you've got kind of these reverses of all the people. Or I'm sorry, you have Toad and Toadette, you have Luigi and then Daisy, Mario and Peach. So you have a male and female version of a lot of these characters. So maybe that's where it came from. I don't know. But yeah, and that's who I've picked. And who do you traditionally play Mario Kart as? Is it Mario for you usually?
Yeah, in the DS one I did play Yoshi because he had that egg cart, which is the best for Snake.
Yeah, I thought the best cart was the little tank.
In Mario Kart DS?
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
Not for snaking.
All right, cool. Well, I suppose you're the one who would know.
Yeah.
The guy who ruined Mario.
I'm sorry. I hope people don't hate me.
It's you can't play it online anymore, so no one's upset. So yeah, you're Mario. I'm playing as Pink Gold Peach. You might switch to Yoshi. I think I'm gonna stick with Pink Gold Peach. I just like how she feels. All right. What about your favorite courses?
I have a few actually, but I would say that my favorite is the Electrodome.
Electrodome. You know what's funny? That's my favorite too. I just love it so much.
I also really like Cloud Top Cruise and Sunshine Airport.
What is it about Cloud Top Cruise that you like in particular? Just the visuals, the aesthetic?
Yeah, and it's also neat how like the music changes when you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just as you go from area to area.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of throwbacks like Mario Galaxy music, which is really cool. So yeah, I'm big on the Electrodome for sure. I love the stupid. Have you seen there's like a video that plays on the wall of the Electrodome of all these like it's strangely low quality, like N64 FMV quality, or actually it'd be PlayStation 1. Yeah, of like Shy Guy and Koopa Troopa and dancing in like a club to the music. It's really goofy, and I love the music in the Electrodome.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite tracks in the game.
Yeah, Sunshine Airport I think is pretty cool. You know, I really like. And these are sort of strange choices given how bombastic some of the designs are visually. I really like Moo Moo Meadows. I think that's a really fun, tight race course.
Interesting.
And the SNES Donut Plains 3, I found myself really drawn to. I think it's just a really pleasant looking course. So, what's your favorite of the retro courses?
Probably something like Wario Stadium or Tick-Tock Clock.
You know what's amazing about some of these retro courses? They're not even the same courses anymore.
Yeah.
Tick-Tock Clock is nothing like it was in the DS.
Yeah, I thought that was a really neat upgrade, though.
Well, it's good because it, not to hate on the DS, but the visuals on the DS weren't necessarily the most interesting of the Mario Kart games. I didn't think, right? Because of the hardware, right? There's not a whole lot limited. You can do. So yeah, I'm way bigger on Tick-Tock Clock here than I was on DS. Are there any of these new remake courses that you're like, oh, I liked the original one better?
Maybe Sherbert Land.
What about the new Sherbert Land do you not like?
I just don't like it at all.
Just something about playing it?
Yeah, I don't know. It feels really sloppy to play through. I don't know why. I can't really put my finger on it.
I think part of it for me is that, and I don't mind the new Sherbert Land at all, but on Double Dash, when you go through, like, the way it's designed is kind of meant to make your cart slide around and, like, hit stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the way the controls in Mario Kart 8 work, that just doesn't feel as good as it did in
that's
Double
probably
Dash.
it.
In Double Dash, you're kind of used to that. Like, part of the game is not wrestling the controls, but, like, working with them a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Mario Kart 8, you're so used to going smooth. Then you get onto this course where you're, like, falling into the water and sliding into the snow, and it just, it doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
It looks nice, though. All of these courses look nice. So.
Mm-hmm. And I can't really say that, like, I hate any of the courses in particular, but if I had to choose one that I didn't like, it'd probably be that one.
That's your least favorite course?
In terms of the retro courses,
okay,
probably.
All right. What about if we just, because what's the next? The next question is just least favorite courses, right?
Yeah.
What's just your least favorite course?
In terms of overall, or?
Yeah, just everything.
It would probably be Sherbert Land.
Oh, so it is your least favorite course. Do you have any other ones that stand out as, like, bad?
Not in particular.
Okay, all
some
right.
Some of the early ones are a little bit less interesting, but...
Like, what's the one? I'm not a big fan of... Is it Water Park? What's it called? Whatever, like, it's in the very first cup. No, it's in the very, very first cup. It's like a...
Oh, maybe
like
just
a
the water
Ferris
park.
wheel and stuff, and I'm not a big fan of that one.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
A lot of people I've heard, not from our poll, because our poll remains a secret for at least another 5 minutes, but a lot of people I've heard have said, like, Music Park, they really aren't feeling, and there was one more that I've heard people say, Music Park and something else. But either way, what's your thought on, like, Music Park? Because that's a retro course, technically.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just plays very similarly to the 3DS one. So
that's something I've noticed about those 3DS retro courses.
Yeah.
They all play like they do on 3DS.
Yeah, there's nothing that really stands out about it to me.
A lot of them, don't... I think... Do any of the 3DS ones use the anti-gravity stuff? I think
No.
DK Jungle does. DK Jungle has, like, a small
yeah.
section of anti-gravity at the end, I guess. But yeah, they don't too much. A lot of these retro courses don't. So, and I know people are gonna get mad at me for this, but I gotta say, I just am not a fan of what they did with Rainbow Road N64 because I have so much nostalgia for that course, and I love the design of it and how long it is. It's like a huge, like, it's a long trek. It's like a marathon. And then this one, it's just like a crazy, rave rainbow short thing, and I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like racing on it that much, actually. So I know that's not a common opinion, and it's purely based on my nostalgia. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like it. So
I thought it was decent, but I was surprised that it's only one long track.
Yeah, and there's not as much. Man, I can't pinpoint why I don't like it. I'm sure at some point I'll get my thoughts better on it, but I just don't even think as a design, I don't think it's that fun of a course. It's the aesthetics obviously are very nice, but I don't
You
really
like the music in that one?
I love the music in that one. Yeah,
All right,
the music's really nice. Yeah, you can't hate any of the music in this game pretty much. It's all so good. It's really, really excellent. So,
And it probably helps that they orchestrated some of it.
I mean, it's a mix, right? But all of the stuff that would use real instruments does. They're not using any fake instruments that are pretending to be real instruments, like fake trumpets or whatever.
Yep.
But like in the Electrodome, you've got a lot of like synths and crazy electronic sounds. But yeah, all of the music is pretty much excellent.
Yep.
So
Probably my
that's
favorite
good.
in the whole series so far.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I think I definitely agree with that. I mean, the only one that comes close for me, I think 64 has a lot of really good songs. Which one's your second favorite as far as music?
I haven't really played them too recently.
Yeah,
so I probably wouldn't be the best person to ask, but yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so what's the next question? Item balance, just quickly. We won't talk about the last one because the last question is just general thoughts, which we've really talked about extensively. So item balance. What do you think about the item balance in this?
Honestly, I'd say it's really good.
Yeah,
Probably-
you know this better than me. Who's the guy that came out and said this is the best one? He said it like 2 days ago or something.
I think it was a combination actually of Yabuki and Kono, the director and the
both
producer.
yeah. All right, and they both said this is the best balanced in terms of items. And would you agree with that?
I would agree. The only thing that someone pointed out in the comments section in one of the articles, and I've kind of been noticing it now, is that I've been getting a lot of those coins.
Yeah, in first place.
And they feel really useless.
I don't know how I feel about that yet. I haven't played enough of it, I don't think, to really say. But what else are you going to give the person in first place that wouldn't be consistently...
That's
I guess
true.
just bananas
I was gonna say,
and
like,
green
bananas.
shells, but even those, it's like, it almost makes it too hard to take out the person in first place if they get too many green shells and bananas.
That's
so
true.
I don't too much mind getting coins, especially because since you're prone to getting hit with stuff, if you just hold on to them without using them, because coins are kind of important, like you need them to go fast. So if you get hit with something, you lose 3 coins, you can just instantly get 2 of those back as long as you're holding onto that coin item. So I don't find it as frustrating as I think a lot of people do, but I definitely see there's a huge amount of them that you get in first place.
Yeah, I was going to only say that I feel like I've been getting a lot of them.
You do, yeah. It's definitely not evenly distributed. You get more, but whether that breaks the balance of the game, I don't think it does.
Yeah, that I can agree with.
I think the overall balance feels pretty good. I will say 2 things. Number 1, I think computers are a lot better at hitting people with green shells now.
Yeah.
They have just impeccable aim, I swear. They're knocking me out left and right. And then red shells, I think, are actually a little bit more of a nuisance than they have been in the past. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but that's my thoughts.
I haven't noticed it too much, but...
Yeah, it's not too bad, but playing on 150cc, it feels like I'm hitting a lot of people with red shells and getting hit with a lot of red shells, so...
Yeah, I think right now I'm on 100cc and almost done with those courses, so... Maybe once I get up to 150cc, I'll notice it more.
But you might. We'll have to reconnect, and you'll have to tell me, but... quick thoughts on the new items?
Pretty good, overall. Obviously, the super horn is really nice.
It's useful, yeah. I like that. I think, what is it? The new items, aside from the Crazy 8, which isn't a new item, you've got the Piranha Plant, the Boomerang, and the Super Horn. And what I like about all of those is, unlike, a lot of items in past Mario Karts, like red shells and stars and bullet bills, most of these new ones, I think all 3 of them really, it kind of have a little bit of strategy to them, right? Like there's a way to use them good and a way to use them bad, and I appreciate that a lot. Like it's not just what are some of the new additions to other entries? Well, even if you just think of in Mario Kart Wii, getting stuff like the green shells and the bananas, because you can pick up a second item, it's just you definitely want to use that first one defensively. Like it's really clear how to use it. And then red shells, since they home in so well now, you can just use them right away. There's not a whole lot of strategy that goes into them. So I appreciate them adding fairly common items that you kind of have to think about using well. Like you can't just sort of hit the button to win, right? So I like that a lot. I think that's pretty cool. I'm very satisfied with these 3 new items, personally.
And what do you think about that new mechanic where, like, if you get something such as a green shell and you're holding it behind you, you can't get another item?
I like that. I think because it makes you think about how you want to use the item now. Because before, it was easily the best option to drag it behind you and pick up a new item, right? It was just, there's one dimension to how you use it, and it's easy to use, and that's it. Now it's like, do I want to fire it off and see if I can get a better item, or am I going to end up with a coin, or whatever? So there's a little bit more thought that goes into it, and I think that really helps balance it, especially for the people in first place, because now they can't just have a constant stream of defensive items, so you just can't touch them. And I guess, that being the case, you might say maybe they should be able to get more defensive items instead of coins, like we were saying, since they can only carry 1. So I guess, yeah, there might be a case to be made that that's a little bit poorly balanced, but overall, I really like that. I don't like it as much as I like how Double Dash, you couldn't even drag items behind you. I like that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. I have fond memories of Double Dash.
Me too. I love Double Dash. It's one of my favorites. I mean, this one's definitely, making its way up the list. But Double Dash, I'm a huge fan of that game.
Right now, I'd probably say that this one, Double Dash, and Mario Kart DS are my top 3.
I would say I like Double Dash in this one. I don't know what I would put as my number 3 there. I like the third one of those. 64, I have nostalgia. I like Super Circuit, actually. Have you played any of Super Circuit?
I did when I was younger.
Okay.
Not so much now, so I don't really remember. I thought it was okay.
That's one of those games that when you first start playing it, it feels terrible because you just can't control it.
Yeah, that I actually do remember. I remember having a really tough time at the beginning.
Yeah, it's really tough, but once you get into it, I really do like that game. I think it's really cool. So I will say I liked the addition of how bananas swirl around you now instead of just being behind you. I like that boosts swirl around you, so you can not steal people's boosts, but you can get a boost from other people, right? If you bump into them while they have it.
Yeah, that's good.
And I like the bumping into people gives you boosts in anti-gravity, right? Like all these things kind of encourage you to ram into people, and that's always been...
That feels like a smart thing to implement.
Yeah, it definitely is. And that's always been one of my favorite things to do, is just to bump into people. Even if you can't get anything from it, I just like doing it. Because it kind of, I don't know, it makes them angry, and I just feel happy.
It's just a satisfying feeling.
Like, yeah, it feels good. And that's, like yesterday I was playing with a friend of mine, and we were doing that Donut Plains map, and we were on the little bridge, and I just decided to bump into him, but I bumped him off the bridge, and then he fell underneath the bridge.
Oh, man.
And he got caught in there, and that's not something that Lakitu saves you from, right? So I managed to make him lose like 5 seconds of race time just because I was like, I'm gonna bump into him.
That's funny.
It was hilarious. We played it on Mario Kart TV like 10 times after that. He was just yelling at me. It was great. So yeah, this, good items. I like the new additions, and I think it feels a lot different from 7, even though I think it seems similar, like, oh, there's still coins and you've got all these similar items, but I think it plays just a lot better than 7 does. I don't know how you felt about 7.
I agree with you completely on that, actually.
It's surprisingly different from 7. I think it looks the same. Well, I mean, it doesn't look the same, but at face value, it still has all the coins and the flying and the underwater sections, but it just feels totally different, I think. So,
yep.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So, anything else you want to say before we just read off the readers' votes for the questions we asked?
Not really. I'm just really satisfied with the game.
Yep, I completely agree with you.
Like with previous Mario Karts, I end up hyping myself up, and it ends up being disappointing, at least
7.
in the case of Mario Kart Wii and 7 for me.
Yeah, I don't know why people like 7 so much.
Yeah, I didn't really like it.
Me neither. I'm not a fan of 7. It feels boring to me.
And also, just want to mention one thing. I feel like they should try bringing back the mission mode from the DS one.
Oh, yeah, that was the coolest thing about the DS one.
Yeah.
Because the single player wasn't totally useless in the DS one because of that.
Like, I feel like it gives you something interesting to do.
Yeah, really interesting.
You wouldn't think that you would include something like that in a racing game.
Well, they had, in Mario Kart Wii, they had, like, kind of a mission mode through the Mario Kart channel. Like, once a week, they would do, like, a weird... I only did, like, 2 of them ever, but they would be like, oh... race on this and kill 5 Goombas with a star, like kind of weird things, but
yeah, it just didn't feel the same.
Not at all. No, they totally need to bring that back because
the DS one had bosses.
It did, yeah, and that's the thing I think that made the single player of the DS actually a viable thing to play extensively. Whereas in most Mario Karts, the single player is like, okay, you get gold on all the cups, maybe 3 stars if you're feeling ambitious. And then you just play multiplayer, and that's it, right?
Yep.
The DS one did a great job of having that mission mode, which is I loved it. I thought it was really awesome. So
yeah, I hope they bring that back.
Agree. I wouldn't mind it. I would really appreciate if they put that back in for Mario Kart 9 or whatever they call it. So.
All right. So do you have any last things you want to say about the game?
I don't think so. I should mention that I think that the core racetracks are better than they've ever been, even like not just aesthetically. I think just racing, a lot of the tracks are just stronger in terms of design. They're just really tight and they feel really good to be racing against, and it doesn't ruin it to have 12 players in this like it did for Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah.
So they did a really, really excellent job. I think all the stuff that the director and the producer have been saying about the balance and just the effort they put in totally paid off for me. So far, maybe in like 2 weeks I'll hate it and I'll put it down like I did Mario Kart 7, but it doesn't feel like I will. So.
Yep, same with me.
All right, should we go through the lists?
Okay.
All right, so the first list we have is we had everyone vote on what character they played as. Are you looking at the list right now?
I can pull it up.
No, don't. I want to quiz you.
All right. I'm going to probably fail miserably at this.
No, it'll be good. It'll be good. All you have to try and guess is, like, just name some that I only did the top 5. So in terms of characters, who do you think's in the top 5 for votes?
All right. I will say Mario.
Yep.
Me.
Yep.
Yoshi.
Yep.
Trying to think who the other 2 could be. Rosalina?
Rosalina's in there. Yeah, good.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's technically 8 because some of them tied, but if you can get even 5 of them, I'll be pretty impressed. See if you can get one more.
It's Luigi?
Luigi's in there. So the way this works out is number 5 is Luigi. Number 4 is a tie between Shy Guy and Waluigi.
Interesting.
Who would have thought? Yeah. Number 3 is Rosalina. Number 2, he's the best. It's Toad. And number 1 is a tie between Yoshi, Mario, and the Mii. All 3 of which are the ones you said you'd consider playing.
That is funny.
Yeah, isn't that? It's the number. They're all tied for number 1. So
I wonder why everyone likes them so much. I mean, Mario
you can kind of understand, and even the Mii you can understand,
yeah,
right?
I guess. Mm-hmm.
But having them all be so high up, like tied for first, is I wouldn't have expected it. So, all right, favorite courses. What do you think's on the list?
All right, let's see.
This only has 5. There's no ties. It's all 5. So see if you can guess.
I guess I will say Electrodome.
It's in there.
Rainbow Road.
Yeah, which one?
Oh man.
You can't just say.
N64.
Yeah, that's in there.
Okay. Trying to see what else is in here. Cloud Top Cruise.
Cloud Top Cruise is not in the top 5.
Okay.
Try guess 2 more. You get 5 guesses.
Sunshine Airport.
Sunshine Airport is, and 1 more.
Swamp Ruins.
Thwomp Ruins is not. All right, so you got 3 out of the top 5. The top 5 are number 5 is Sunshine Airport. Number 4 is Electrodome, mine and your favorite. Number 3 is Shy Guy Falls. Number 2 is Rainbow Road from N64. And number 1, which I can understand this one, is Mount Wario. I think Mount Wario is pretty cool. So.
Oh, yeah. Kind of forgot about that one, but that one's pretty fun, actually.
I like it, yeah. You go through a lot of, like, you start out on top of a mountain, and then you go kind of into this crazy cavern, and then you go over, like, this dam into a forest, and then you end up in this kind of Olympic ski slalom, which is, it's a cool course. That's one where I don't mind that it's only 1 lap.
Yeah.
Rainbow Road N64 is a pile of trash, is basically what I'm saying. That's going to be my new motto here, just to get everyone to hate my opinion on this game. All right, how about least favorite courses? You got 5 guesses. There are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are some ties that went into this. So
all right,
you got a better chance.
How about Mario Circuit from the Game Boy Advance?
Nope.
Oh wow. Okay. Dry Dye Desert from GameCube.
That is in there.
Water Park.
Water Park is not.
Let's see. This one's kind of tougher.
It is a little bit tougher because so many of the courses are so good. Do you want me just to read them?
All right.
All right, so number 5 is the Wii U Rainbow Road. People, I'm guessing because they were disappointed rather than they don't like it as it is, but it was kind of played up as being like really intense, and it's good, but it's not that great.
Yeah, I would agree.
Number 4, I hate everyone for this, is one of my favorite courses, Donut Plains 3 from the SNES. Don't know why they hate it. I love it. Number 3 is a tie between DK Jungle from 3DS, which I'm not a big fan of. How do you feel about it?
I thought it was just decent. Not really memorable.
But tied with that is Grumble Volcano from the Wii, which I thought was an excellent course.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like that.
Really? Okay, I just like the feeling of going out and seeing the volcano like explode in the background.
It might just because I have bad memories of Wii.
Oh yeah, it's not that good on the Wii for sure. But yeah. Number 2 is a tie between Music Park, and this is an interesting one to me, Bone Dry Ruins. How do you feel about Bone Dry Ruins?
It was what it was.
What does that mean?
It was kind of like another one that just wasn't that memorable to me.
It's interesting because it's actually not that crazy.
Yeah,
it's in a cup with a lot of crazy courses.
I feel like there's not that much to it.
It's really simple, yeah, and I kind of like it in terms of its simplicity. It has I like it a bit because it has an atmosphere of like a Spyro, like PS1 kind of desert sort of feeling. But it is a super simple course. It doesn't have the elaborate set pieces that the courses around it do, and I think that's part of why people don't really feel it. So number 1 is one that you guessed, Dry Desert on the GameCube. People still hate that course, and they hated it on GameCube. So
maybe because they don't like that big
big
thing big pit that just sucks you in.
It's worse in the GameCube because it will even if you if you even touch the side of it, really, it pulls you in pretty quick. So. It's not as bad in the Wii U one, but it's still the number 1 least favorite course. So
that's
there you
interesting.
Go. All right, I pulled out a couple of quotes from the stuff just to bring up some simple topics to discuss. I think that we actually covered a lot of them talking about them. I think that this is one that is I figured I'd bring up just to see what we thought about it. Someone said, Nintendo claimed that the Super Horn would be a really rare item. This has not been my experience with the game. In one race, upon getting through the first set of item boxes, 4 racers received the Super Horn, which is insane. I've seen the Super Horn much more than I've seen the Piranha Plant, Boomerang, and Bullet Bill, but blue shells do seem to appear slightly less often. How do you think the Super Horn's too common, like this person does?
I don't think I would say that. I haven't been noticing it that much.
Me neither. If you measured it against Super Horn versus Piranha Plant and Boomerang, I think I do get it a little bit more than I do Piranha Plant and Boomerang, but I think that's just because I'm like in first too much, playing against the computers, right? Mm-hmm. And that might be part of the problem that this person's having, if they're all really good racers or they're playing on like 50 or 100 cc, right? Mm-hmm. So who knows? But yeah, I thought the balance of that was pretty good. This person says some general thoughts. I'm hoping Nintendo will release DLC for this awesome title, and there's a lot of potential. So I figured I would just quickly ask based on this. What do you want most out of DLC? Racers, courses, or there was one other thing. Oh, cars, like karts.
I would just want a proper battle mode courses.
That's all it is. Arena. I think that's probably the number one thing people want. Is battle mode. I honestly, you know what? To me, screw battle mode. It's dead to me. Just give me more race courses, because the race courses are so good.
That would be my second most wanted thing.
Yeah, battle mode means nothing to me if you're gonna have time limits and you're gonna have that ghost crap.
Yeah.
I don't even care anymore. Unless they remove those things, I don't even want.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the time limits thing, but that's kind of annoying also.
It's terrible. It's so dumb, because the most you can do is 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And the courses are so big that there's no way you're going to finish in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a very poorly designed mess.
It's disappointing.
It's really too bad, but, you know. This person says... Oh, this is something interesting we didn't talk about. This person says, the courses are an absolute blast to play and look at. The music is fantastic. And while the gamepad doesn't have any actual useful features besides off-TV play, the map screen is a bit strange being on the gamepad, he says, but it's incredibly better and more comfortable controller playing with the motion controls on the Wii Remote than in Mario Kart Wii. So the thing I wanted to pull out from there is that there's no map on the screen.
Yeah, I was actually
it's
going to
all
bring
on
this
the
up
gamepad.
before.
What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't notice it at first, but it started to become annoying because basically you have to look down at the gamepad to see what's going on the map.
Yeah, there are two things about this. One, I like that it's not on the TV, because what it means is that... oh shoot, there was something I can't think about it anymore. Mostly, I dislike it, because I like being able to see how far ahead... Like, I just found myself looking at the gamepad, because I was just curious how far ahead I was of everyone or whatever, you know what I mean? The flip side to that is, I like that you can't instantly tell what items everyone has, like you can in Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart DS, right? Because then, if you know that, it's a little bit easier to avoid them, and I kind of like having to do it in that split-second time between when the alarm starts going off, and then you kind of have to figure it out more quickly. So I don't mind that, but yeah, it seems like a strange...
Yeah, I just wish they put like a little mini-map on the TV.
It would be great. And also, I liked in Mario Kart 64 how you can see the top 4 racers whenever you're racing, so you know like who you're dealing with, like who's the person you have to murder if you want to win, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I wish you could see that too, but you can only see it if you look down at the gamepad. So another strange thing is that you can't do split screen with one person on the gamepad and one person on the TV.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried split screen yet, but...
It's fine. I mean, it runs smoothly. 4 players, it does drop down, like everyone was saying, to 30 frames per second. Mm-hmm. It feels pretty bad for the first, 2 minutes, but you get used to it pretty quick.
All right.
But 2 players is excellent. It works wonderfully, the way that they did it. So, yeah, gamepad use, kind of perplexing to me, but I guess we will see.
Yep.
And then the last comment I wanted to bring up, someone said, I'm very curious to see how much of a boost this game will give Wii U sales. It would be very ironic if Mario Kart 8 sells poorly, because I think it is one of the best in the series, just like how Mario Kart Wii sold very well, even though I think it was one of the worst. How do you think it's going to affect Wii sales? You're smarter than me on this. You're the one who has a Nintendo website. Yeah, I don't know anything about this junk. What do you think?
I can only see it doing good things, but I saw a report just recently how there was a Japanese website claiming that it had already sold 400,000 units in its first couple of days.
Whoa, is that worldwide? Just 400,000?
That was just for Japan, actually.
Whoa,
I don't know how.
That's crazy for Japan.
The only thing is, I don't know how accurate it is right now.
Yeah, but still, that would be crazy. And I mean, from what I'm hearing, the bundles kind of sold out everywhere, and even the games sold out in a lot of places. So
yeah, and that promotion where you can get an extra game, that's really smart too.
Well, you know what I ended up doing is I took Wind Waker HD and I just traded it towards eShop cards. So I basically just got $30 off Mario Kart because then I just re-downloaded Wind Waker because the only game of those I didn't have was Wii Party, and I didn't really want it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, did you have all 3 of the games or all 4 of the games that were?
I didn't have Pikmin 3 yet, so.
Oh, you lucky jerk! That's such a good game. That's perfect. No, that's a perfect game to get with this deal. So.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get it, so.
It's so good. It is so good. So yeah, I don't think anyone can see this making the Wii U, compete with the PS4 and the Xbox One right now. But I don't think it would be that surprising if it started boosting the numbers, past what Nintendo had forecasted for this next fiscal year, right?
Yeah.
Because it's got a lot of social media buzz, like people being able to share it and talk about it pretty prominently. So I think it'll do pretty well for itself. I don't think it'll save the whole system and make it, crazy. I think it might put it into like the GameCube realm of sales, right?
Yep.
Is that about where you're thinking?
Probably a little bit better than that.
You think so? You think Wii U's going to end up ahead of GameCube?
I think it has the potential to do so.
I would be really, really surprised if it did. I'd be very happy if it did. And I'd be kind of surprised, actually, because GameCube ended up at like 24 million or something.
Oh, all right. That's a little more than I thought. But.
Yeah. Well, and that's worldwide, though, right? And Wii U is at like just under 7. Just under 7 million.
Yeah, that's going to be tough then. But.
It's going to depend how long they let it stay on the market, before deciding to, kill it and put out something else.
Yep.
But we'll see. If it hits GameCube numbers, I'd be very pleased with that, and I think they would be too, given how atrocious the sales have been so far.
Yeah.
So that's all I got as far as our readers. Thanks to everyone who voted and sent in their stuff.
All right, so
we appreciate that.
I think it was a little bit longer than both of us expected.
Yeah, we were like, 15, 20 minutes. Now it's like, it's an hour. Great, or 50 minutes or whatever we're at. So yeah, you can break it up into 2 parts if you want, whatever works.
All right, I guess we'll see what happens. But
it's up to you.
We appreciate all the comments and all of you who filled in that survey. So, and if you like this, we will try doing it again sometime.
Oh, we're gonna do it whether they liked it or not, because I liked it. So screw them. And I'm sure they'll like it though. It'll be good.
Yeah, we were thinking of doing something for E3, so
that would be cool. I think we should. So hopefully people find it easy enough to listen to. It's kind of like a bonus podcast at this point, now that it's an hour long. And that's always good. So yeah, thanks for coming up with the idea and having me do it. So
nope, you've been great, so thank you.
Thank you. All right, cool. We're done, I guess.
All right, guys, we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.